Season 27 is upon us. PSGL back after just 4 weeks of break. We are here and the season opener is right in front of us. My name is Austin Smith, and alongside me, of course, we have the one, the only, Owen Wyatt. Owen, how is it going?
It's wonderful to be back here on Mondays, isn't it? Only been 4 weeks, mind you, since the last race, but I'm raring to go. Finally going to get to commentate a race at Australia as well. And what a grid we've got as well. I absolutely cannot wait for this.
Yeah, before we get to the grid, before we look at the grid, let's look at the calendar first, because I gotta say, the drivers aren't too happy with the second half, but if you look at this, I mean, there are some of the greatest tracks there. We have Australia, obviously, to start with, which we haven't seen in PSGL for a very long time. We have, obviously, the perennial featured Great Britain. We have Belgium, France, Monaco. That should be an interesting one. By the way, for Belgium, the date has changed to January 4th. Monaco, Italy, Russia, Singapore, United States, Mexico, Abu Dhabi, and then the final race at Japan. So I gotta say, for a final race, usually we almost always have it at Brazil or Abu Dhabi. But for Japan to fall into that slot where you have the final race around Suzuka, the one track that is a figure eight, a track where overtaking is hard but not impossible, and that is certainly challenging for all the drivers. I think this is a great way to end the season.
Well, that's an old school track, isn't it? We like all those, and Japan obviously will be, hopefully, a title decider. Plenty of people will be in it. Only 12 rounds, just you'd hope it'll be quite close. And so that should create a lot of drama. So, yeah, the drivers aren't particularly happy, as we say, so that's always all the better, isn't it? They'll give us a better race if they aren't 100% happy.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And speaking of the drivers, let's look at them very quickly. So, here are 10 teams or 20 drivers. However, we have one change for tonight. So in the Mercedes, and you see there that the change pretty much at the top left already. It is NWS Christmas who is replaced today, as apparently he was on the toilet. And so he missed the race. That is very, very unfortunate there. IGK Domi is replacing him in the Mercedes today. Then we have in the Racing Point, Blizzard and Aero. In the McLaren, all BDG, Recon and Louis. Although I think Louis is also replaced today by NWS Bualim. That is one of the new names here, really. We have in the AlphaTauri the champion BDG Gill alongside new F1 driver BDG Warren. In the Haas, all CRG, Sparks and Gamer. Red Bull, all VSR, Vasa Racer and Prinens. In the Renault, Casper, the VSR F1 Esports driver, and Ash Best, also VSR. In the Ferrari, IGK Dario, and I mean, who else would you put into the Ferrari other than a guy named F1 Ferrari 516? I mean, that's a name that just fits the car.
Indeed. You'd love to see the fanboying going on there, although you might have to change that username quite soon.
He might have to, yeah. In the Alfa Romeo, we have CRG Matthijs and VSR Thyman, and finally in the Williams, VSR Jordan and Shazoo Juice. Now, let's talk a little bit about the track. It is the Albert Park circuit, 5.3 kilometers long. First race held here in 1996. We're going to have 29 laps of racing, 16 corners around this track, and you lose a whopping 22 seconds in the pit lane. Most of it coming from the fact that this is a slower pit lane. This is the 60 kilometer per hour, 37 mile per hour pit lane. So it's slowed down here, which means you lose more time, which is why you see on the right side, the one stop is the predicted pit stop strategy for all the drivers pretty much. Either soft to hard, that is the preferred strategy for most drivers, especially those in the top 10, or the soft to medium, really only viable if you're outside the top 10. You see the difference between the tires as well. 1 second between the softs and the mediums, and another half a second between the mediums and the hards. And of course, the recent results, it's really been a while. I mean, you can tell from the fact that Louis Welch 03 got the last pole position. Not BDG Louis, no, that was before he joined BDG. So it's really been a while. when Louis got that pole position. But let's now finally get into qualifying. We are already 4.5 minutes into this, and we see a lot of times already then. CRG Sparks is currently leading the way in the Haas.
Yep, 1 minute 18.6 for him so far. We've got BDG currently out there. Good to see he's still in that AlphaTauri, isn't it? Maybe being sensible. Everyone else wanting to swap and change their teams. Stick with what works and be Gil, the reigning champion. I've been moaning a lot about the pad though, so maybe it's not going to be that good, or maybe he just is better than me. We'll see as he comes around to complete his first lap of the day. As you see, Sparks' time there to beat. And he's last of the times that have been set so far. Only half a second off the pace, mind you, but as we've said many times, the F1 grid always tends to be very close.
Yeah, we have a couple other drivers out there. Casper, of course, in the Renault, in his Renault, basically. F1 esports driver now coming through the second sector. Let's see what the second sector split is saying for him. We are looking at 58-1. We'll see how much that's worth. But he's slowing down. He's slowing down. Yeah, he's backing off. No DRS either. Let's look at CRG Gamer, who spun yellow flag there. But because of CRG Gamer in the Haas, that is where is that?
Where is that? That's a good question. I think that's what's turn 13, isn't it?
Yeah. Front wing completely teared off there. And he's going to have to make his way to the pit lane rather slowly with an AlphaTauri shooting from behind. I think that is Warren. Indeed it is. And Warren gets a slide and has to abort and goes back into the pit lane. I don't know if his lap was ruined there by CRG Gamer or if it was just a mistake he made on his own. Maybe if he makes it into the top 3, we'll ask him about it after the race. But for now, we don't know. But certainly a tricky situation there for the AlphaTauri.
I'm really hoping you're not having the same issues as me, by the way. I've got a lot of cars that are just flickering.
Thankfully, I don't have that issue right now, thankfully. Let's hope it stays that way. Fingers
the game
crossed.
does not like Ash Best is just he's having a day off there. He's fixed himself now. Hopefully we don't have that issue for you in the race. Hopefully it's just me that has all of these issues. That's why I don't stream anymore. Too unreliable. As Blizzard there, it goes fastest for racing point. What on earth are you doing in that car? Still can't get used to it.
You're really confused by all the cars, aren't you?
Why is it pink? It's not the colour you think about him with.
Owen, don't worry. Next year it'll be dark green.
Much better. Here's Dario. He goes P10. Only 12 times on the board, nearly half of the session. You've got to get a move on these people.
Prentice is already retired as well.
Yes, we must have completely missed that one. That might well have happened when we were doing all the introductions.
Exactly.
Jordan,
Meanwhile, Jordan moves up to P4 out of nowhere.
That's his second attempt, that one, because while we were doing the intro, I did catch this one because he did have a little spin. I think it turned 11 or 12, left, right. He did spin off there. That's why his first lap time didn't go through. It's about the only thing I was able to catch earlier on. But yeah, he shows he does have pace, though, up there in P4.
Yeah, and speaking of racing points, there goes Aero up to P7, right after Juice in P6. Far enough away to not give each other slipstream. I think that is still not allowed. But also very close to each other there with only 35 milliseconds. Sorry, I had to do a little bit of math in my head there. And I think my age is starting to show because usually I do that very quickly, but that took a little bit longer than usual. But yeah, 35 milliseconds between the two Shazoo drivers, and here comes Bualim. Is it Bualim or Bualem? I'm not sure. It's two E's, so I'm inclined to think it's Bualim, but if someone in the chat knows better, let me know, because I've seen it written as Bualem in the chat. So I don't know what to believe.
Go with what's on screen. I tend to agree with you with Bualim. And, he's into the pit lane.
Yeah,
he's nearly into the pit wall.
And we have 3 drivers all on outlaps, and plenty of drivers attempting. Everyone on the softs, by the way. Not that we would have expected anything else, because usually, this practice session, because the tires around here, the soft tires specifically, it does last quite a bit, 12 laps maximum. Obviously, some of these are going to be used in qualifying, gotta remember that. So for the race they lasted a little bit shorter, and so apparently I was wrong. It is Boualem, not Boualim. So it's just a very long, it's two E's, but it's basically just one E, so it's Boualem. So some time for us to get used to that as we're looking at Warren, but I think we're going to switch over to Gamer. Nope, we're not switching over to Gamer. He has invalidated.
That's what I want to point out here, Austin. I've watched so many people. That's what I'm not. There's no one to watch. They're all invalidating. They're really struggling right here.
It's a tricky track for invalidations. It's a tricky track for invalidations. You look at how many spaces, in how many places you can invalidate. You look at turn 1, obviously. You know, if you run a little bit wider, you cut the corner too much. You look on the exit of turn 5. You know, there are so many opportunities here. You look, obviously, the number 1 offender is the fast chicane of turns 11 and 12. That's the one where I always do it, at least. And so there's so many ways where you can mess up your lap. And this one, especially here, that we just go through 11 and 12. This is the one that comes so late in the lap that you can't regain your ERS again over the last, what, 20 seconds of the lap, 25 seconds maybe. You can't regain your ERS, so running another attempt right after isn't going to work.
It's also a common problem right here that people do actually use all the ERS on that first lap anyway and actually run out on the main straight. And you can see there, Warren, he's really using all the ERS he can. It's a fine line, that, and if they do get it right, that could be worth a crucial 300s, because as you can see, Warren going P5, just over a quarter of a second off, just 2 1,000ths ahead of Jordan. So it is so close.
Yeah, meanwhile, here comes Casper. We expect a lot from him, for obvious reasons, I think, but what is his first time of the season going to be? A 1 minute 18 point. I mean, we're expecting it, rightfully so, beating out Blizzard by 3 milliseconds. I mean, that's about as close as you can cut it, isn't it?
Very close, just where he wants it. Looks like Gil is starting a second lap. He must have abandoned the first one, but we can obviously watch now the reigning champion as he heads round for a lap of the Albert Park circuit. So we'll see just what all the pitfalls are for him here, because obviously if it's a second attempt, he might well have already struggled with the first one. And obviously being 17th, not the best start for a reigning champion. Mind you, he's still ahead of 3 other people, but I'm sure more times will come through at the end. So let's see how Gil looks in the first sector. He's already up, but not really by too much, only the 700s. And you can already see, look how close he's cutting those yellow lines there. You go across those, it's straight away, lap over. So you absolutely have to give everything. This chicane's actually a lot more difficult than it looks, because you can lose the traction on the exit there quite easily if you get too much on the second curve. But luckily, Gil has kept it on the road. Middle sector time, only 300s up at the minute. He's staying down in 17th, but he's really got to figure out how to make this time up in the last sector. Hopefully, maybe it was a little bit slower last time, and this is where he's going to get all that time gained. But let's see. Easily the back end here as well. That's what we saw happen to the Haas earlier. And now just 2 more corners to go. Gil hits the apex. Easy to miss that one, actually, if you lock up. But he's made it all the way through. Easy to lose the back end in the final corner as well. But he's had a decent lap. But is it decent for F1 standard? Let's see. Not really. It's only 16th place, and then he's been taken over straight away because someone, I think Berlin, just went up and took 6th place.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement now further up the road. If we look, Sparks has taken back provisional pole position here from Casper with 3/4 of a tenth. And Jordan is up in P4 now. Vasteris P5, Diamond P6. I gotta say, both BSR and CRG here battling over the top 8 right now. Domi now breaking this up a little bit, but I mean, there's a lot going on there. We have 3 CRG drivers, 4 VSR drivers in the top 8, and Domi, the only one trying to break through here. So those 2 teams, I mean, they're showing that they're the top really right now in the F1 League racing scene, especially on the PS4. So this should be a close battle. And let's look at Gamer. He's trying to get his first lap under his belt here. His first timed lap, his first counted lap, his first valid lap. 47.3 after 2 sectors. Does get the chicane properly. And now a few slow corners waiting here. 150 kilometers an hour through this one. Just over that. And then this one's quite fast. but then you have to really slow down here. And as you said, it's easy to miss the apex here. He does not make that mistake through the final corner. Stays full on the throttle, not even a lift. Very important. We might see in the race a little bit something different, but Gamer in the end, P9, moves himself up into solid midfield territory. I mean, just look at how close it is between P5 and P11. We're talking 63 milliseconds, less than a tenth between all these drivers there in the midfield range.
Yes, you can see there with Gamer, he was so much more aggressive than Gil was in that last sector, especially when getting onto the curbs. He was really using his track limits a lot more. So that's a bit of a sign of where Gil needs to improve there. It was really striking that, actually, and that obviously could be the difference between those very, very close gaps. Only person on track at the moment who's looking to do a lap, because obviously Gamer's just finished one, and will be F1 Ferrari. Loving the helmet, by the way. Gotta admit, he's the absolute super fan right here. But let's hope he can go a bit better than 11th place. Problem he's going to have, of course, being at this point in the track, is everyone's going to be coming out of the pits now. Only 2.5 minutes to go in qualifying, and you can see it already happening on the mini-map. So F1 Ferrari is going to have quite the interesting lap here, Austin.
Yeah, this is the calm before the storm, as I always like to call it, where you have sort of 3 minutes left, 2.5 minutes left, and then all of a sudden everyone's leaving the pit lane. And Ferrari has decided, you know what, let's not even bother. Let's just go out a bit earlier here with F1 Ferrari, and you know, let's just see what we can do with the first lap, with hopefully as much of a free track as possible. Obviously, he will not have his Gamer retires. Does he think he's done enough?
I think he's got time to go again, Austin. He's just come back to the pit lane. We know how long the animations take.
Could be, yeah, that's true. But yeah, Ferrari here, now he runs into his first bit of traffic. That's one of the Mercedes. I don't know which one it was, really. I can't tell you. It's really hard to distinguish them. But yeah, he's decided, you know what, I'll go against the grain. Do not take the better grip. Because obviously the more cars go around the track, the better the grip is going to get. So the last person to do a timed lap is going to get the best track condition here. And Ferrari is basically gonna get the worst here as he takes it through the final corner. I like the line, I have to say. He goes very aggressive there over to the right side to then take the penultimate corner. And now final corner. What's the time gonna be? 1:18.5 P4.
Not bad.
That's really not bad. Beats that Jordan.
Decent for this time in the session. I'll be interested to see just how many beat that. Obviously, we'll sort of expect a lot of people to find a 10 for 2. So that will be certainly very interesting to see then. But right now, I don't know if you want to find out who the first person is on track. I'd say maybe best to look at Sparks at the moment.
I think Recon is the first one. Pretty sure Recon is the first one.
He is actually a bit ahead, sorry. Yeah, we'll watch him, then we'll see Sparks at the end, because obviously Sparks is a P1 man. That'll be interesting to see.
It's going to be him, then one of the... I think that should be Dario behind him.
Yep, Dario after him. Dario, I commented on him quite a lot back.
Oh, invalid for Recon, so that's his qualifying over. So let's go to Dario right away as he's coming through the penultimate corner now.
I've seen a lot from him before, I think, back in SLR. He seemed quite aggressive back then. Hopefully that he still has all the pace, maybe a little less aggression. Let's see as he comes to the line. P13, not
and here comes
too
Sparks.
bad, but quickly Sparks. He's fine some
Still
time.
improves.
Only 300s, but will that be enough to keep him ahead? Casper will be one of the last people to cross the line, actually. He's down in his first sector. So let's see Blizzard to the line. Oh, he's on the grass.
No improvement. Yeah, no improvement. 600ths of a second slower. Then we have Wouters up to P6. Oh boy, now we have one of the Red Bulls. That is Vasta Racer, currently in P7. Just got
P2
moved down
now.
and he moves back up to P2.
Here's Gil. Is he going to stay at the bottom?
Yes, he is.
Only
18th.
18th. And Ash Best is 2/10 up. There's a car on the wall as well. That might well be Ferrari, maybe just getting out of the way of people in quite a creative manner. But here comes Ash Best to the line. He should displace Gil. He does his back in P7. Not too bad. But that's a real disaster for the reigning champion. Yeah, Onyx P3. Casper's invalidated here.
Oh, wow.
A lot of invalidations going on right now.
Thyman might be the last one. Maybe Juiced. Yeah, Juiced right behind him. But here comes Thyman. Stays in P10. Juiced. P13, so no improvement there from either of them, and that means we have our grid, and it is CRG Sparks on pole position with Vasta Racer alongside him. It's CRG VSR, CRG VSR, CRG for the top 5. And then Ferrari's breaking that, and then we have 2 VSR drivers right behind that in Jordan and Ash Best. It's incredible.
Am I allowed to take any credit for saying that the pad has become a little less powerful thanks to the force feedback on it being a little bit rubbish thanks to the PS5 ruining it? I'll always call it a conspiracy theory, but Gil, he'll certainly be agreeing with me, I wonder, after that, because that's P19, unless he's managed to wheel out of somewhere. But yeah, reigning champion, not the best start for him. It's only half a second off, mind you, but around here, with this grid, that's too much, clearly.
Yeah, it needs to be said. It has been a very good day for Sparks, because not only did he get pole position, it's also his 16th birthday. So
hopefully it gets better from here and he can win it rather than have it all go downhill. Let's not have a Sebastian Vettel here and bin it. Yeah,
that is always a possibility. However, Sparks should be a little bit more mature now and not make these mistakes anymore. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sparks can actually bring this birthday gift that he gave himself home. However, we always have to remember P11 is arguably the biggest danger, the biggest threat to the leaders, to the pole sitter. So the alternate strategy might play into someone else's hands, not really into Sparks. But while we are waiting for the drivers to load in, let's just have a quick look at the track. This is the Albert Park circuit, 5.3 kilometers long, 16 corners. We have 3 DRS zones. Not many tracks can say that, but only 2 detection points. Very important to remember. A little bit of elevation, not too much, rather flat. And yeah, that's really the track around the wonderful lake here, right in the city of Melbourne. And what a great venue it is, I have to say. What a great track, what a great venue. Has been used in F1 now for 24 years.
Certainly a classic now, isn't it? Always one we look forward to every year. But the drivers, I don't know if they actually look forward to it as much as the commentators do, because sometimes it does end in a bit of a mess, and that's all the better for us, isn't it? I'll be very interested to see how they all handle this one. Strategy, of course, we've talked about it before. Will anyone risk a soft to medium or even a medium to soft? We keep going on about that P11. I'm sure somebody out there is going to try it. And I know I'll say this and then no one will do it. But I'm sure somebody will be starting his race on the medium just saying, I'm going for softs later on. And you can see already, there's quite a mix of tyres actually. We've got all 3 compounds in there. 3 of them only on the hards. They're Aero, Recon and Prinens. And then the rest of the people outside the top 10 being Domi, Gamer, Juiced, Bulem, Dario, Warren and Gil. They're on medium, so that's what they're doing on tyres. So it'll be interesting to see how they all get on. Especially Prinens, who didn't get to settle out in qualifying, regardless of what his problems were. We didn't really see it. Then obviously again the top 10, you know who they are. We've got Sparks, Fast Racer, Onyx, and then Casper, Blizzard, Ferrari, Jordan, Ash Best, Fausters, and Feynman on the sauce as well. So it'll be a very interesting start to this one. If we get any safety cars as well, especially early on, that could also sway the strategy as well.
Yeah, very much so. It's going to be interesting. I think I'm not really surprised to see 7 of the 10 drivers outside the top 10 on the mediums and only 3 on the hards. It is really a choice of personal preference here, whether you want the mediums or the hards. It's a bit of obviously you do practice. How long do the tires last? How good do you feel on them? What times can you go with them on average? But medium to soft as possible. However, it depends on the personal tire wear of the driver. How much do they struggle with medium or hard tires? And especially if you look towards the rear of the grid, P17, P18, P20. I'm a bit surprised Gil went for mediums. Maybe he's hoping to get 2 positions at the start, as Casper was described. Casper and Blizzard must have made contact. That means both of them are going to have stone cold tires at the start of the race.
Connor, with some interesting information now. The Xbox guys did the hards from lap 2, so that's on the safety car. So maybe we're just expecting the tires will fall apart. Obviously, that's 70% stuff, but maybe soft to medium or medium to soft will be the best way to go. We'll wait and see.
Another thing to remember very quickly, the last birthday winner here in PSGL, because he mentioned it because he is so humble, it is of course Connor himself. And can Sparks dethrone him?
Well, let's see then. We've got 29 laps ahead of us here. And when those 5 lights go off, the season 27 will be underway. It's Sparks on the right, it's Faster Racer on the left. And we are away in Melbourne. Looks like Sparks has got the line okay. Not the longest run down towards turn 1. Lots of jostling for position in the midfield. And we're side by side for for P2 anyway. And I believe they're being very, very clean actually. Sparks leads it. Let's see the midfield though, because we've got a bit of a pilot going on back there. Blizzard definitely involved. Jordan involved as well. No damage for any of them actually. Who was spinning. Warren might have some. Or even Gil, actually. I thought it was a bit of AlphaTauri, but they're both okay, actually. We need to see who has what. And the order's messing itself about as well, so it's a bit difficult to tell. But at least the front stayed clean. There's Recon off the track as well. He's got both sides of his front wing missing. But yeah, front stayed nice and clean at least.
Yeah, the top 4, no changes at all. Wouters was the first one to make plenty of overtakes happen, and he's now up to P5 already after starting in P9. So very, very good start there for Wouters, for the NWS driver. But the top 4, no changes at all.
Still trying to work out where that damage has come from. Might well actually be the McLaren. But anyway, apart from the bit of contact, they're fighting away at the back, but we're not really too focused on them, are we? We've got the lead runner on mediums, then being Gamer, as we've said, he's doing well. Aero as well on the hards, that's been a good start, up in 11th place. That's a good place to build from, certainly. You don't want to be near the back when you're on this type of strategy. We know how strong it can be when you're this high up. It's why P11 is the second pole position. So, yeah, we'll see how they all get on. DRS obviously not going to be enabled until lap 3, so for now, it's just going to be a waiting game. We keep saying this, don't we? It's always going to be the case on this game where it's not really worth fighting at the start, but we'll see what they do.
Yeah, it is quite hard to overtake around here because you don't have that many slow corners, heavy braking zones where you can overtake. It's a very fast track. I would almost compare it in terms of average speed to Silverstone, in terms of how quick. It's not Monza, I'll give it that, but it is quite fast around here. You don't have that many slow corners, really. It's a lap that, as we saw in qualifying, is done in just about minute 18. Obviously, in the race, it's going to take a little bit longer, but it's a very, very fast track here. 5.3 kilometers, but only just under a minute and 20. This is something that you have to bear in mind, and so it makes it a bit harder to overtake. It also makes it hard to regain ERS, so the drivers have to be really smart with how they use it in this race.
Already seeing penalties coming up for Blizzard there, obviously. We haven't done a stream, I don't think, since the new fantastic penalty graphics came up, so we have to go cycling through loads of menus to see who has what. You can just see them on the side of the screen. So that's useful to know, but we'll talk about that one probably later on. DRS now is enabled, and ERS F1 is looking okay, but it does catch up on you, as we're sort of saying, it will catch up on you quite quickly, actually. So it'll be very interesting, because you can see Ash Best already. He'll be using that even more just to try and keep up, so he might be the first one to fall. That might be where that train breaks away, because right now, top 10, all of them, the DRS.
Yeah, this is a potential breaking point there. If not Ashbest, I think either Ferrari or Gamer might be the one falling away, especially if we obviously look at the tires. Gamer might be the one that falls off here first. Ooh, bit of a slide there for Ferrari. We just got the tail end of that, and now Diamond looking to make a move into turn 11. Very daring. If he does, he doesn't. He decides against it and stays behind the red Ferrari from Maranello. And stays in P8, bides his time for now, it seems. But it also seems like, ooh, a bit of dirt being kicked up there. It also seems like Thyman is just biding his time. He could be faster, he could get past, but it's very tricky to pull off an overtake. And this early on, you'd rather not risk it.
Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? We have to talk about risk and reward at this stage. Why can't they just go for it? But it is suicide, isn't it, if you try that? So, oh well. Someone will go for it, eventually. Yeah. That's where you'll get the safety car from, isn't it?
Meanwhile, Blizzard has gotten a 3-second time penalty. In case you're wondering what that penalty is, we can see that now as well. In the what's called the detail. Details,
yeah,
what it's called.
It's annoying, isn't it, this detail? Because you have to go off tires to look at it, so we'll have to switch back and forth for that one.
Yeah, but it's better than nothing.
Anyway, can I just defend myself? I'm not the one controlling this, so do not have a go at me.
No, it's fine.
Do not, Alamonda, because we'll get your mod removed there. Okay, it's not me. It's not my fault.
Meanwhile, we still have the top. I mean, almost everyone is still within a second of each other. The first one dropping off is Aero in P11 on the hards, which again we showed you earlier in the race info. The difference between the mediums and the hards only half a second per lap. So a bit surprising that it's there. Oh no, we have a migrating host.
Ooh, that's bad,
Onyx is
isn't
left.
It? Third place as well in this race. Luckily he will Ghost, but unfortunately for him, after the heartbreak in Brazil, it just gets worse for him, and hopefully it doesn't mess the lobby up as well, though I do fear it might, since he is the host. We'll just wait on this one.
It might very much, but we'll hope that for now he's losing positions, that's for sure. Down to P6 already. Now Ferrari goes past him, Thyman goes past him, everyone goes through him actually, not just past but through as well. Let's hope he can reconnect. I mean, it was a very, very heartbreaking finish last season, wasn't it, between Matthijs and Gil. Equal on points, decided by a penalty, and just ultimately on count back. I mean, it doesn't get much closer than that, does it?
I mean, he didn't even lose it, you know, as you say, it's through penalties, but it was also through a wheel disconnecting under safety car for Vasta Racer. You couldn't have thought of a more ridiculous way to lose a championship, but unfortunately for us, he had dominated that whole race, and it just didn't really happen for him in the end, and now he's disconnected from the first race after that, so not his best start to a new championship, and I do worry he won't be able to get back in because he's the host, so he won't have sent himself any invites, will he?
Yeah, I'm worried. Maybe you can send him one?
I'm sure Ash might have sent him one or two.
Hopefully,
he sends us all anyway.
Because I can't, because I'm the one streaming, but, you know, maybe you can. I feel like we might try to get him back in here if possible. Connor is saying that he can't join back.
We'll give it a go, sure.
And someone's also wondering why I still say Onyx, because Matthijs is quite difficult to pronounce at times.
Yes,
that's
I've
why.
always known
Everyone knows
Onyx.
him as Onyx. Plus, I just want to have this known on the record here that Onyx told me I can still count him Onyx. I have his permission. So, don't want to hear anything about that. But, yeah, Sparks now leading quite a bit, trying to get away. The interval has stopped working, so don't even look at that. I think it's because of the migrating host, isn't it?
Luckily for me, it's still saying it should sort itself out when they all cross the line to start the next lap. As Ashbester picks up a 3-second time penalty, and Casper on the DRS looks like he's went down the inside of Vasta Racer for P2. And that is him taking advantage. Then if Onyx not being here, he's now going to have a little look and see if he can close and get into the DRS of Sparks now.
Oh, we have another migrating host. What is going on now? Oh no.
Dear, this is bad now.
Wow. The two hosts are the two people that disconnect.
Oh, yellow flag. There's a car off.
Yeah.
It's Bully. He's now left the session. He's raged a little bit there.
Yeah, seems like it.
Well, we do have pit stops going on,
when
by
the
way.
car is still on track. We might get a qualifying ban for the next race he participates in.
We have got pit stops. We've got Vasta Racer straight into the pits after that. I wonder if he even had a mistake or something, but he's into the pits anyway. And he's onto the hards. Ferrari onto the hards, and Blizzard onto the hards as well. So they're all in. And Simon and Ash best look to be going at it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course he's disconnected, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So of course they'll be going at it because they'll all be going through him. It's a bit
Exactly.
annoying. This is not the way we'd want to break up this train, but it's the way it's happening. It's all helping Gamer and Juiced on their mediums, of course, get up through the field. That's 2 of the quickest soft runners out of the way.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And 3 more because they pitted, so a lot of drivers now clearing the way for Gamer and Juiced right now, who are looking very, very good in this moment, and Gil as well. I mean, you gotta say, considering where he qualified, for him to find himself in P8 right now, 3rd of those on alternate strategy, is a very, very good development for him. He might get himself a driver of the day if he keeps that up. As now we have Sparks in the pit lane. Casper is taking over the lead, and Thyman follows him in. So Sparks and Thyman both pitting for hard compound tires.
It's no one even thinking about the mediums yet from the softs.
No, it's way too early for that. It's way too early. The mediums last around 17 laps. If you're really nice to them, you know, you take them out for dinner, you know, you really take care of them, you know, maybe a nice massage, then you can take them about 18, 19 laps. But it's still too early for that. You would have to pit at the end of lap 10 to have a chance at taking them to the end. Otherwise, you are getting into puncture territory rather quickly. And once you get there, once you get to like 70%, I mean, really, once you get to 60%, they start falling off. But once you get to 70%, they're not just falling off, they're blowing up.
Yeah, so that's the struggles that they are going to be facing. But if you're Casper and Bowser's right now, you must be thinking potentially there's a chance you've already been undercut so much that you might even think about it. Will Valters think about it because he wasn't really highly in the running before? Will he just try? I'll try something different here.
It seems like
they're both staying out another lap. They're both staying out another lap. So maybe they are going to try and stretch it to the mediums because they would have reacted by now if they're going to go into the hards. It makes no sense. You know, it makes no sense to have not pitted by now, and the game says the one stop for mediums is open. Whether that's for actually medium tires pitting for hards, that might be what that means. Yeah. But either way, their pit window will be coming up soon. I'm sure they might be thinking of the mediums now. Safety car now, of course, will help them make that decision. But yeah, we'll see what they do.
Exactly, that's what they might be thinking, that they're hoping for a safety car here, trying to stretch it out as long as possible.
Oh, an Arrow. Arrow's gone up the inside of Gil. That's the hard tires passing the medium tires, and it's creating a bit of a train.
There's
a car off.
No, it's AlphaTauri, sorry.
Yep, it's Warren.
I
Warren
thought it was a
lost on the
Hassan first,
exit.
but it's Warren.
So that pack had all closed right up to each other as Arrow passed Gil. And now Dominic's all over the back of Gil. So Gil, well, he looked strong for a moment, but now is he going to start to get swallowed up? Because Arrow really took advantage on those hards. He has just gone and got a penalty, mind you. But sort of starting to show that maybe these hards are good on pace against the mediums already. I have it out where it's just Gil continuing his struggles.
Yeah, I'm looking forward here to Casper and Wouters, what they're going to do. Right now, Casper is still running sort of the same pace as Vaster on fresh hards. So Casper can keep up that sort of pace. He's losing about a 10th or 2 per lap, which isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things. Right now, however, Casper would rejoin just ahead of Vaster pretty much. It's going to be really close between those two. And for Wouters, probably behind Vaster. So I'm not sure if that's where they want to be. I'm a bit surprised. Maybe they both want to go on to the mediums. But again, it would require a pit stop around, I mean, at the earliest at the end of this lap, but that's stretching it near the end.
Look at Dommy, by the way.
Ideally, you want to go lap 11, or maybe stretch it to 12 if your tires can take it. But certainly 11, I think, is the better option for both of these drivers here than 10.
I'd agree with that, but I think Wouters might just think, do you know, if I pit now and Casper doesn't, I might just have a chance here. So maybe if anyone's going to do the really early one, it'll be Wouters.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But look at Dommy. I know you're watching him, but he's just all over the back of Gil. If Gil wasn't still in the era, which he might not be in the not too distant future, he's gonna be swallowed up. He's really, really struggling out here. But let's look at the top 2 then. Is Casper going to pit? Is Wouters going to pit? That's what we're all waiting for. That's what everyone pitted earlier is waiting for.
And Wouters follows. Is it going to be the mediums? I would think so.
Has to be. They wouldn't have gone this far if it wasn't going to be for the mediums, and that is mediums definitely for Valtters. You can see there the yellow marked tire going on. Let's see if it's the same for Casper. No, it's the hards for him. So Valtters, the only person trying those mediums.
Wow,
Very
that is
interesting.
surprising for Casper here to take the hards. Why did he go that long into the race? Does he struggle with the tire wear? But then why does he take the softs 10 laps if he struggles with tire wear? So I don't understand this strategy call at all. Maybe he can explain it afterwards if he makes it into top 3, or either if he doesn't in my DMs. But I really don't understand why he's going that long into the first stint, basically getting undercut by everyone, including Vaster as we see now, 1 second behind Vaster. And for what? The others are going to make it to the end, for sure. Sparks is going to make it to the end. Vaster is going to make it to the end. Why? I do not understand that call.
He might just want that little bit of extra firepower at the end. I'm sure by the end of the race, the guys that are over in the hards might be starting to slightly struggle, where Casper would be giving it 100% to the end. Valtters would be the one you'd be expecting to be having the issues. Maybe he's actually caught he can get as far, so that does make you really question Casper, doesn't it? Yeah. So
yeah, the traffic is more of an issue now than the firepower later on.
Yeah, Valtters would be the one using his firepower early, because he is sitting in a position where it's Warren who's blocking Vaster, who's blocking Casper. Will Warren stay out? He's still in his medium, so you'd expect him to, and he does.
Oh yeah.
So Casper, this gamble might not work for him, because Valtters might really benefit from this train.
Yeah, the issue for Casper right now is that Valtters behind him is half a second quicker than him based on the tires alone. Doesn't take into account driver skill or anything like that, but just on tires, his tires are half a second quicker. Here goes Vaster on Warren, easy completion before turn 3.
Valtters on the outside.
Yeah.
Had to think about it there, because Casper wasn't sure if he wanted to get by Warren or not. Oh, he's lost the back end, Casper. He's already feeling the pressure, and Valtters is on the outside. That'll be a brave move into the chicane, but I think he's going to have a chance to get it done. Or will he be shoved off the track? That's exactly what's going to happen.
He got squeezed, and
Casper was not going to let that one happen, was he?
Yeah, doesn't seem like it, but the question is whether that was a legal move there from Casper to push Valtters wide. Because Valtters was alongside, and I mean, if we've learned one thing...
Oh, that's out 11, that's brave. Oh, he's nearly hit him, but he's putting Casper under so much pressure. He's now got a penalty. Has the random driver, and Valtters right on the outside. He's got that DRS, they both have it, but surely Valtters, can he get it right around the outside? He's broke as late as he possibly can, and he's off the track again.
And here goes Simon. Yeah, and I gotta say, I'm not too happy. As I wanted to say, as two-time F1 world champion Fernando Alonso once said, all the time you have to leave a space. Casper twice in that one lap didn't, while Valtters was on his outside and alongside him. So I'm not so sure about that one. Maybe Valtters is going to bring this to the stewards, but I feel like he's been done over here by Casper. I feel like this, as much as obviously Casper is entitled to defend his position, but I feel like that went a bit too far. Certainly a very strong defense. Ultimately, the stewards are going to have to decide, but I think they will have a look into that. Whether I can't, say whether they will actually give him a penalty for it, because I'm not a steward, but I think they will certainly look at it.
Well, the Nikita Mazepin fan inside me thinks that give him another chance. But certainly if he does that one more time to Valtters, he will be absolutely furious. He might. It all depends where Valtters finishes, whether this goes to this judge or not. But I think if it does, you probably are more likely to see a penalty for Casper, because it's one thing doing it once, it's another thing doing it twice when it was so clear the first time. You could say, oh look, I had the line to the corner, he shouldn't have gone around the outside. Second time, come on, it's clear what he's doing at that point.
Yeah, I think so. It's certainly been across the line there. At least I think, maybe if I was an F1 steward, maybe we would see even more penalties than we already do in F1, but that's a totally different question, as Boalem just got lapped there by the now top 12 or 13, but he also disconnected, so we can't really take him into account. But if you're wondering what is that McLaren doing there, That is Bualem, who has disconnected earlier, and his ghost is running the show there. But,
Gotta say, Sparks, by the way, no penalties, 4 seconds ahead of his nearest rival. He's in dreamland right now.
Yeah, and net leader. He's already pitted, the top 6 haven't, so he's really doing a great job here, controlling from the front. He might struggle a little bit once he runs into Prinens and Dummy and Gil and Aero, but other than that, I think Sparks currently doing everything he can and just managing this.
Sorry to interrupt there, but Casper just getting by Warren. Didn't push him off, did he? Didn't see him as much of a threat, so he didn't have the need to push him off. That's what it proves. That proves yet again. Valtters are like, well, but why didn't you give me that room? You know?
I think as Warren goes into the pit lane, now that he is being swallowed up by some of the drivers who have pitted already, he decides, you know what, before I lose any more time, I go in, and Prinens as well. Prinens going on to mediums. He started on the hards. That's interesting. Doesn't even touch the softs. I think, again, quite a bad strategy call. The same, however, I think is true for Warren. You can't take these soft tires 15 laps, I think. Unless he's doing miracle work with those tires. 15 laps is beyond their lifespan, and he's really stretching it there. I think a bit early for Prinens. It makes sense. If he has no confidence in the softs, then yeah, go hard to medium or medium to hard. But it's a much slower strategy overall.
Yeah, I think it's at this point there are only 5 more people left to stop at the front. So it'll be interesting really when they decide to do that, if they've been paying any attention to the rest of them, because you know, you would have instantly assumed at this point that their strategy would be automatically going to the sauce, and as it shows, they're doing that. So yeah, it's interesting really to have the confidence or not to have the confidence. Maybe it's about how much you've practiced for it, but I'd certainly say the rest of them will be on the sauce, right? Surely.
Yeah, I think so. The top 5, I think, well, we're going to see all of them on the softs. We won't see them pit until at least the end of lap 17, so don't expect them to come in at the end of this lap that they just started. And here goes Wouters on Casper. Maybe, do we see...
Here we go.
Oh,
he's gone! Oh, what a save!
Wow.
That's a proper save there.
That is a proper save. I thought he was gone, and he somehow held the car going the right direction and everything. That was a great save from Wouters in a very, very bad situation, I have to say, because he had a chance to overtake Casper there, and he wasn't able to because of that slide. So really hurt him. But I mean, you'd rather take that and a sort of 1 second, less than a second lost, over ending up in the wall, tire off, race over.
Hopefully Valtteri doesn't do that too often though, because he had just set the fastest lap of the race before all that, so he's proven he has that pace, and well, he must be aware how far ahead Sparks is. He must still be thinking in the back of his head, if I just get clear of these two, Sparks is there, you know? So he needs to make sure he just cuts those mistakes down, because there's just under half the race left to go. He can do this still, he can get out there, he hasn't got the penalties. Sparks might get one down the road. He's got to just keep this one clean. There's still a chance for him here, especially on those quicker mediums.
Oh, Gil is pitting.
Yeah, he was struggling for pace, wasn't he?
Bit
What's
early
he gonna put on?
Bit early though.
Well, he's gone for the softs.
Oh,
he's going to be
risky.
right on the edge at the end, especially on the pad as well.
Oh yeah, even more so, yeah. Even
so good
more
luck
so.
with that one, Gil.
I mean, if someone can do it, it's the reigning champion, I would say.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
As he comes out right behind Ferrari, they're in 14th place.
And meanwhile, let's have another look at Wouters versus Casper. I think this is sort of the battle of the race so far. Really, those two have had their run-ins already, and maybe they're going to have some more as Wouters is trying to get closer. But Casper has some help now in front of him, basically, in the form of Master Racer, who gives him DRS down every single DRS straight. So he can defend, and if there's one thing we know, it's that the DRS is so powerful on this game. The ERS as well, but Wouter's running rather low at around 15%.
Racer as well running very low.
Yeah, Casper has a lot to defend. Master Racer also running low on fuel.
I do wonder, I mean, well, they'll always run the fuel low if they can. But I do think Casper, he might not really be one. He won't be worrying about vouchers right now. He wants to get Pi Batteries, just simply put. He must know about that advantage on the ARS. He'll be able to recognise it on the straight. We have two pillars, by the way.
Yep.
Juiced and Domi onto the sauce. Juiced, the more interesting one to look at, I think, as he comes out of the pits. Let's see. Where's he going to be? Do you know, he's going to be pretty quick right now. As would Gamer when he comes out. This is where these highest runners on the other strategy come into play.
Yeah, I mean, look at the gap from Juice to Thyman right now. That's over 4 seconds. He's got a couple of laps where he can just absolutely let it rip. Just go, you know, how do I say that in a PG way? Something to the wall. You know what I mean? Just go absolutely flat out. Just fastest lap. I would expect him to set that immediately. Or, well, on lap 19 because this is an out lap. But I would expect him to be the first one to set the fastest lap here once we get to lap 19 and just absolutely fly down this track. So I'm pretty sure the Juice is going to catch up with Thyman within the next 2 laps, maybe 2.5. And then it's going to be interesting.
Flags. That's a car off in the wall, I think. Oh. There's 2 cars off. It's Blizzard and it's Ferrari. Damage for Ferrari. I don't think there's actually anything for Blizzard. Race leader into the pits, by the way.
Yeah.
Of Gamer now. Does he stay ahead of Juice, or will that undercut all the free air help Juice get ahead? Because Gamer,
this is close.
Ah, he's lost it. I think
Juice has it.
But the thing is, Gamer hasn't got any penalties. So again, Casper, he's down the inside at turn 3. He's gone past Faster Racer. I think that's the second time he's gone past him today, isn't it? And second time's made it stick, and Faster Racer nearly loses it. Can Vouchers have a chance down towards chicane as we
Ferrari
see
retired.
Ferrari in the pit lane retire? He had half a front wing left. Maybe he just gave up. At least he did it in the pit lane though. And Domi's all over the back of Prince as well. These soft runners are all showing their pace. But as I was saying, Gamer hasn't got the penalty. That's crucial for him. That will really put him in the podium fight towards the end of this thing, potentially.
It really is. However, I think the person who's doing the most crucial work right now still is the one we barely ever had on the cameras at all this race. It is CRG Sparks, who's just managing the gap so well. I mean, we're talking almost 5 seconds to Casper now. Casper finds himself in a perennial battle with Wouters and, to a degree, Vaster Racer. But, you know, Sparks just has no one around him, and he's just driving off into the distance. Happy end if he can take this car 10 more laps without any issues, which the tires will certainly last. That is not the question. But, I mean, he's just doing such a great job right now on his birthday.
Sorry to interrupt, but Faster Racer had a horrendous turn 1. Wouters surely on those mediums should be able to get that one done running outside of turn 3, but will he be shoved off the track for the 3rd time today? Nearly. It wasn't as blatant as Casper's attempt, but again, Wouters just cannot get by. That was a really good chance for him.
Yeah, I have to say, this one was alright, at least.
Girls in the gravel.
Yeah, Master Racer allowed Wouters to at least keep 2 tires on track and didn't completely push him off. Plus, there was the curb there, obviously, so I think it was fine on Vaster Racer's part there. But certainly a strict battle there between the two, and Vaster Racer gets himself a penalty. Let's look at the penalties quickly just to see what's going on there.
Surely he's got him now. Surely he's got him now. It's easy this time. Wouters
down the inside, and there you go. Yep.
Finally.
That was about as easy as it can be, really. I mean, you get the inside. Once you get the inside, I mean, we've seen Wouters every time he was on the outside. Twice he was pushed off by Casper. Once he was fought against by Vaster Racer. Every time Wouters was on the outside, he struggled. The moment he gets the inside, it's like taking candy away from a baby.
Right then, so who are we waiting for pit? We're still waiting for Arrow to pit. Why?
Makes sense though. It makes sense to a degree.
Is he waiting for a safety car?
Possibly, but also at this point, I mean, look at the gaps between Aero and all the other drivers behind him. Right now, he would come out definitely behind Gil, and definitely ahead of Warren, unless he has a 5-second penalty, which I don't think he does. No, he does not. Only on 3 seconds, so that's not a penalty he would serve during the pit stop. So, you know, at this point, he is clear to be between Gil, well, now between Jordan and Warren, because Gil just made a move there. But that's the situation. And
I wonder, sorry here, I think Juice might be about to go for the move on Fireman right now. The soft runners making their way through the field. Gamer, it's going to be right on the back of this as well. Expect this for the next few laps right now. There's still 8 to go at the end of this one. This is far from over for these guys because they are on still relatively new tires, and these moves should be coming quickly, thick and fast. And like I say, Gamer with no penalties as he now comes past. What happened there? I think I've got a bit of lag there. Sorry, he spun, but he didn't spin. He's up to P7.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's with no penalties. Certainly a factor right now for at least, like I say, the podium. Second place is there for him.
Yeah, it pretty much is. There are certainly a couple of opportunities, especially Vasta Racer now very vulnerable here in this situation. 1.5 seconds behind the next car behind Wouters, so no DRS help for Vasta Racer to defend himself in any way from this horde of drivers that are coming ever so close. And I think Juice is probably going to get Vasta Racer here at the end of the back straight. The DRS zone number 3, I think it's considered. He's definitely going to get him down there, I think. Better run through the fast chicane 11 and 12. And potentially, he's a little bit far away actually, so it might be on the main straight or into turn 3 instead. He's also low on ERS, Juiced. But then again, so is Vasta Racer. And at
Gamer's
this point,
fine though, wasn't it?
Yeah, Gamer's got something left in the tank. Yeah, 50% right now. He's got something to fight with, but I think he wants to keep that to the end of the race to then battle maybe with Juiced over a podium position.
Right, yeah. Valtters is still on the back of Casper, by the way. Casper not really making many inroads in Sparks. Even if he was, the penalty is too much anyways. Juice down the inside of Vasta Racer.
And Gamer hit Vasta Racer in the rear. Spun him around.
Front wing damaged.
Yeah.
That's the problem with these softs. You can break so much later. You genuinely just don't expect the guy on the hards, the older hards, to break so early. I wonder that has just caught Gamer out. Sadly, it's cost both him and Vasta Racer. That's front wing damage for Gamer, and Vasta Racer obviously has lost a few positions with a spin.
Yeah, the question is really, what do you do now if you're Gamer? I mean, you've got damage.
Oh, got a penalty as well. It's all falling apart.
Yeah, it really is. That was his opportunity to take it and didn't work out. Aero, I think, is still waiting for a safety car. I don't think it's happening, but it's a nice try there up front. 1 second now behind him is Sparks, so I think Aero's going to have to pit. And no, he stays out. What is he doing?
Am I getting a little bit excited here, or is he potentially waiting for rain or something? Because it's just got extremely dull right this track, hasn't it? I'm not seeing things. It's so dull,
goes to rain, I can't believe that. If this goes to rain,
no other reason to be 24 laps on the tires, is there? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Come on, he has to be waiting for the rain.
Yeah, I think so.
Because look, it's dark skies everywhere. He's looking last minute rain, hopefully enough for intermediates. That's what he's looking.
If it does start raining, Aero is gonna look like an absolute genius, and if it doesn't, he looks like an absolute fool. Well, I mean, this goes one way or the other. There's no in between. There's no grayscale. This is just wow. I mean, if this starts to rain here in about lap 24, 25, I'll go on board with Sparks to see if there's any raindrops coming down. Right now, none.
But there's certainly a move for the lead, though. He'll make that one.
Yeah.
I very highly doubt Aero will fight that, though. There's no point.
No.
He's certainly going to be on the edge with the tires anyway, regardless of what the weather's like. Let's see if he pits this lap, just in case, because seriously, if he doesn't pit this lap, I'm convinced it's going to rain. Because it's silly to say it now. It's Feynman and Gamer as well. Fight.
He's still
it's going to rain. It's going to rain, surely.
Oh, wow.
There's no other reason to be out at the minute.
That is such a risky strategy. He probably saw the last bit. So there's usually in a 50% race, the drivers see 7 sectors of weather, 7 different graphics, or not necessarily different, but 7 graphics. And the last one, he may have seen some light rain and may have thought, you know what, we'll try this. But at this stage, at this point in time, lap 25, even if it starts raining now, I mean, the crossover period isn't going to happen until at least another 2 laps. If
Well,
not
I've got
more.
experience of this. I've got experience of this. Not on this game, but on 2019. I had a league race. It was in Australia. I think it was, again, SLR. I think Dario was in that race. He's only 14 at the moment. But I believe he was in that race. It rained at about 3 laps to go. I actually crossed over instantly. It was so instant. Now, obviously, that might be just because of the timing of the race. It might have been heavier rain, but, you know,
Could be.
his thing will have had rain droplets on his thing. That would suggest intermediate conditions, right? And so, you know, there's a potential it rains on lap 26, and by the end of lap 27, it's time for inters. You know, it
Still
could do
staying
something
out.
like that.
That is crazy.
So, it could rain hard enough, but will it even rain at all in time? That's what we got to think about.
Yeah.
Because Aero right now, unless we're missing something, he's definitely not pitted. So, yeah,
I can show. I can show. There you go. No stops. Everyone else, 1 stop, 2 stops, 3 stops. Gamer's out.
Gamer's given up. He's in the pit lane.
Oh, in the
he's
pit lane.
clearly not expecting the rain, is he? Yeah. This is bizarre if he hasn't got rain coming. he certainly wouldn't have forgotten to pit, would he? Surely he would have saw P2 and thought, there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
So he has to be waiting for rain.
I'm pretty sure he didn't forget to pit at all, because usually the game also reminds you, by the way. The game's like, by the way, you still need to use a different compound of tires. So I really doubt that he forgot to pit. It's got to be waiting for rain.
Because he's hemorrhaging time. He's hemorrhaging time. It's not even like it's a very long strategy call. He's losing seconds a lap nearly to some people, as Casper will breeze past into P2.
He's not fighting it either.
No, he's not even fighting it, so it's really weird. But the rain is still not here, if there even is any. We're just assuming it's going to rain. Let's see if Aero pits this lap.
There's a couple of rays of sunshine coming through, and he pits now.
Right, he's pitting then. So
yeah, let's go for softs for the last 3 laps. Damage limitation.
What sort of a strategy call is this then? Because where is he going to end up? Unless he want... I mean, yeah, they're the softs. So, sorry, folks. False alarm. It's not going to rain. That's just really strange strategy.
No, I think he was hoping for the rain, and it just didn't come. I think that's all it is. He's going to rejoin behind Jordan now. But at least ahead of Warren. I think there's Warren. Let's see. Yep, there is Aero on the right side already way ahead. He could
get a point, couldn't he, actually? He could still get a point. It'd be really good.
6 seconds in 3 laps? Possible, yeah.
You could probably do about 3 seconds a lap at this point. I'm not even kidding on these tires if you really push them.
May have been Warren, actually, who was off the track a little bit, possibly.
Yeah, Warren might have just missed a corner or something. Yeah. He's okay, though.
Yeah.
Prinen's all over the back of Gill, by the way. Gill is in 8th place, so he has made a good recovery from the back of the grid and from the gravel trap. But still not really ideal for him, is it?
Yeah, it's really a tricky situation for him. And you got to remember, there's still 3 more laps, or 2.5 more for him. And he's already done 10.5 laps on these tires, so they will have done 13 by the end.
Blizzard's gone off.
Yeah,
he's recovered though, no damage again.
On Gill, that's a move done. And Brennan's now up to P8.
Looks like Sparks is losing plenty of time. I don't know if he's run out of ERS or if he's just really struggling for pace right now, but he has got Casper catching him very quickly. But the problem for Casper, of course, is the penalty. He's got 3 seconds, doesn't he?
Yeah,
yes, he does. And Sparks hasn't.
He would have to overtake Sparks and then gain 3 seconds on him in a lap and a half.
Yeah, so it's not exactly
not going to happen. I mean, if you're a betting man, you might want to take the odds on, that actually happening. But you would get a massive payout if you tried. But it's not going to happen, I think. So
the only thing to worry about for Sparks would be if Casper does want to have a go at him and he makes it a bit difficult for him. Oh, he's off. Well, he saved it, sorry. Casper's just about saved it. That might just cancel that all out. What I was going to say was that if he catches him, fights him a little bit, and Wouters gets involved, but he would obviously have had to close a little bit, and yeah, somehow Casper survived the impossible there at turn 12. First driver I've seen to save it like that and not hit anything.
yeah, I think that's the skill of an F1 esports driver, isn't it?
Yes. As we start the final lap then. Still no rain. It's not really going to happen, is it? And if it is going to happen, it's way too late now.
It's going to happen
Can
after the
Sparks
race. Watch.
cross the line first?
It's going to happen on lap 30.
The typical F1 way.
Yep.
Now, Sparks will want to cross the line first today, and like I say, there is still, like I say, it's a very small potential, but it is potential. These two fight a little bit too hard, very unnecessary, but, you know, Casper, he'll want it just for a bit of pride, wouldn't he? So, yeah, let's just hope these two don't get this completely wrong, because Wouters will certainly be right there ready for it if it does go wrong.
Now, here's my thinking. I mean, Sparks is 16, you know, he's a little bit younger, he's a little bit more energetic, let's say, because obviously, you know, I can tell from experience as a 27-year-old, you do lose energy compared to when you were 16. But I'm the kind of guy to think long term. I'm thinking, look, if Casper sends it down the inside, I'll let him go. I don't care. I'll take that win. I know he has a penalty, and Sparks knows.
So late on the
there you go.
So he's hit him. He's gone. And
Casper
spun. Would have got P2 anyway, but the F1 esports driver showing not really much esports ability.
Juice.
And
round the outside there with a bit of a slide. But we go to Sparks.
Does Sparks make it? Does Sparks make it? Because obviously the rain falling now, but it's not really going to matter too much to him because he comes to the line. The birthday boy wins a season opener. What a drive from him. Dominant, it has to be said. Wouters takes second place. Very good drive from him. Taking the mediums to the end was a good call. Juiced, well, wasn't quite the best shot you could have got. But you know what? On the auto strategy, that's worked out pretty damn well anyway. Now let's see how everyone's getting on with this wet condition, because there are going to be struggling drivers.
Ooh, Aero spinning across the line there does get P10, but oh my goodness.
Does Warren survive? Does Warren survive? It doesn't look very good for him, does it? My goodness. It really has hit the crossover point instantly.
It has, yeah.
That happened one lap earlier, man. Oh, for goodness sake.
Poor Aero.
That would have been such an exciting finish. That would have been such an exciting finish, man.
I think Rico retired in turn 5. Warren retired as well. Wow. Caught both of them by surprise. But yeah, oh, there we saw the wreckage still of, I think that was Recon Prinens against driver of the day. But my goodness, what a race. I mean, it really all kicked off in the final half lap. And the birthday boy dethrones Connor as the latest driver to win on his birthday.
And he so nearly lost it, because that was a decent old tap he got from Casper in the rain as well. That could so easily have pirouetted on him. Yep. Very lucky it didn't, because he would have been absolutely furious. But luckily he got to the line, no penalties. He's absolutely thoroughly deserved the one. So it's Sparks and the winner in Australia.
Yeah, and we talk so much about the alternate strategy and how it's so OP. For a driver to win from pole position on this game, it takes quite something. So a fantastic race here from Sparks. The fastest lap was done by Blizzard, who retired. So no fastest lap point for anyone. But here is the result. Sparks, Wouters, Juice, Casper, Domi, Thyman, Prinens, Gil, Jordan, and Aero are the top 10. Prinens from 20 to 7. I have to say, that is quite a result as well. However, I would say driver of the day for me would arguably Wouters. I mean,
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Starts from basically the back of the grid when it comes to those who are inside the top 10. Has the bad strategy that has to go soft to hard. And basically, you know, is right in the mix of everything. Gets shoved wide twice by Casper. And still finishes P2. I mean, it's a remarkable race there from Wouters. And at that point, because you said earlier there might be it might be dependent on the position that Wouters finishes in. I think with Wouters finishing in P2, he might actually not send the 2 instances between himself and Casper to the stewards.
Yes, I think. Well, it sort of proved his point, didn't it? When Casper went and crashed into the Sparks, you know, it sort of told you all you need to know about how Casper was today. But yeah, look, we said he had to try something different, didn't he? Because he wasn't really in the running too much. Was Wouters, and going long on the softs, not exactly easy to do, and then taking the rest to go for mediums, that is fairly deserved, that one. And obviously Aero as well, going from 13th to 3rd. 3 really good performances there on that podium. We're interested to talk to them.
Yeah, I gotta say, we're waiting obviously now for the drivers to join the call to ask them a little bit about their races. What we can already tell you is that Wouters is not going to join because his quality on the phone is so bad that it probably wouldn't be worth it. But,
that's a shame. I was looking forward to that too.
Yeah, same, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. However, we are also waiting then for Sparks and Juiced. And Sparks has already said he's going to join. So let's hope. Oh yeah, Sparks is already in. Let's drag him in immediately. Let's not wait. What was that?
Well, you brought him in. He's left instantly.
Yeah.
We're not gonna sing to you, okay? But birthday boy winning the race couldn't have been much better, could it? He's left. That's all we need to hear. Thanks for watching. See us next week.
No. We'll keep him in here, Sparks. Please don't leave.
Hold on, I can't hear you.
Oh, that's the problem.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. Oh, and I think you're gonna have to tell him again that you're gonna sing for him now.
Well, no, I was very clear that I'm not going to sing for him.
I was looking forward to that.
I can hear you very quietly.
Oh, okay.
Being quiet, that's a first.
Yeah. Oh, it really is, yeah. No one's ever said that to me before.
Can you still hear us, or are we just...
Yeah, it's very quiet though.
Okay, but you can't hear us.
I'll just try and make it work.
Okay, awesome. So, Owen,
right.
Just repeat what you said.
Yes, well, first of all, like I said, I'm not going to sing to you, but happy birthday. And
thanks.
You couldn't have asked for a better race, could you? Pole victory, it was pretty dominant, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I came into the race with that in mind, and that's what I've done. So, yeah, it was quite a good race. I don't know where the gap really came from, to be honest. Mid race, it was nearly edging in 5 seconds. I'm not sure how that came about, but yeah, I'm not complaining.
Got to say that was a bit dicey at the end when you had Casper going up the inside, especially when it was starting to rain. That mustn't have been fun.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I was on 2 warnings, and I knew if I got one, that would have been it. So I was trying to balance my cards with it. I don't know if that was my fault, really. I tried to leave room, but I was in some tunnel vision mode. But if it gets reported, we'll see. But I don't think it was my fault, at least. But yeah, it was definitely very sketchy there with the rain. It was really slidey.
Have you got anything, Austin?
I would just I would just want to know now that you're 16 and you've immediately won a race on your birthday, how does it feel to dethrone Connor from that sort of seat?
Connor?
Yeah, he was the last one to win a race in PSGL on his birthday.
All right. Well, I don't know if I could be as good as Connor, the 7-time champion, if I'm honest. But yeah, no, it feels great. Obviously, turned 16, I can legally qualify for esports now, and hopefully that will catch an eye of a few. But yeah, no, it definitely feels amazing. If it's my birthday or not, I'm amazing to win. So hopefully I can just keep this form and not get too over myself.
Does that mean, so for this Challenger series that's going on in F1 esports, so you weren't allowed to qualify for that despite the first proper race happening after you turned 16?
Yep, I was not allowed to qualify, and yeah.
So you're gonna have to wait until next year's Challenger series, basically. Yep. Oh boy. Well, good luck with that then. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see you there. Unless You know, I mean, it would something weird would have to happen. I can't even imagine, honestly, that doesn't come to fruition. But yeah, great win. Great. I have to say, great management. Once you came out of the pit lane and just managing the gap to like 4 or 5 seconds the whole time to the next car that already pitted, which I think at the time was mostly Casper. So yeah, just keeping that gap. You were on your own for as soon as you came out of the pit lane for like basically the whole race until Casper closed in lap 28, 29. And how difficult is it to drive just on your own with no one in front, no one behind?
It's a bit of both, really. I mean, when you're driving behind someone, or closely behind them at least, it's a bit annoying because you've got dirt air, you can't really see your lines correctly. That's the con of driving behind somebody. But driving on your own is a lot better for the opposite of that, obviously. But it's really hard to stay focused because you're constantly thinking, I can win this, I can win this. And as soon as I saw the gap starting to fall, my tyres were getting older and his were getting better, the heart started going a bit quicker. But I managed to pull it together somehow. I kind of knew from about lap 15 that this was mine to lose when I saw Casper had a penalty and everything, and he wasn't a medium, surprisingly. So yeah, I knew it was mine to lose, and yeah, heart was definitely going, but I'm really happy to put it all together.
Yeah, once again, great race. Congratulations on your birthday win, and of course from me as well. Owen already said that, but from me as well, happy birthday.
Thanks.
Great gift you made yourself, I have to say.
Yep, definitely. I think this is the best gift I've had all day, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, from this point on, it can only go down. So
yeah,
we'll see you next week then. Are you looking forward to that race?
What's next week, Britain?
Yes.
Oh well, I mean, my pace is usually good there, but I've never had a quality there in the actual thing. So statistically, it's it can't get any worse, really, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll put in the practice, and we'll see how we turn out.
All right. Well, good luck for next week then, and congratulations once again on your win.
Thanks a lot, man.
All right. So, and I think with that, we are now going to bring this to a close. This was the opener of Season 27 of PSGL F1. And I think on this channel, the next thing you're going to see, if we can bring this up on the weekly schedule, I think this is the old weekly. Yeah, this is from like a month ago. But still, you're going to see some Formula Performance. This is the old schedule. But oh, and we have the track video. We don't want that. But yeah, we're going to have the Formula Performance tomorrow. For us here at the PSGL F1, we're going to be back next Monday. It's the same time slot. 8 p.m. UK, and of course, once again, with myself and with Owen, hopefully. Owen, are you going to be there?
Of course.
Awesome. We're looking forward to that. It's going to be Silverstone. It's going to be Great Britain, Owen's home race, and a track that I absolutely hate for various reasons. We'll talk about that next week. And with that, thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.